The 1960s, a decade of chaos hiding bone-chilling evil. Sinister killers on the loose, otherworldly creatures stalking victims, spine-tingling mysteries leaving a trail of bodies, horrific scenes that rocked America to its core. Join us as we unveil the most chilling tales of the 60s that still haunt us today. The bizarre Mothman sightings in West Virginia. In the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a wave of truly bizarre events took place between 1966 to 1967. Numerous residents reported seeing a massive humanoid winged creature with large glowing red eyes that came to be known as the Mothman. The first Mothman sighting took place on November 12, 1966, when 5 men digging a grave in a cemetery claimed to have seen a man-like figure fly low from the trees over their heads. The creature was described as gray, with wings folded behind its back and large red reflective eyes. Over the next 13 months, over 100 sightings were reported in and around Point Pleasant. The creature was spotted flying over cars, stalking farmhouses, chasing down teens in parked cars, and peeking into windows. Witnesses described its massive 7-foot wingspan and ability to take off straight up into the air, unlike a bird. Some also reported strange encounters with mysterious men in black investigating the sightings before the visits abruptly ended in 1967. The Mothman encounters took an even stranger turn when the Silver Bridge collapsed during rush hour traffic on December 15, 1967, killing 46 people. Many tied the bridge disaster to the creature's appearances, believing the Mothman to be a foreboding harbinger of the tragedy. The frightening creature was never seen again after the horrific bridge collapse. The baffling attack by a prehistoric sea monster. In the icy waters off the coast of Iceland in 1961, an unexplained and seemingly impossible encounter took place when the naval ship USS Resolute was attacked by an enormous sea creature that resembled something prehistoric. On August 10, 1961, crew members were working on the ship when a gigantic animal suddenly rose out of the frigid depths and wrapped its jaws around the ship's bow, snapping off a large sonar device before quickly sinking back into the 1,000 fathoms deep sea. Witnesses described its long neck and small head sitting atop a 20-foot-long body. They were astounded by the creature's massive size, estimated to be over 400 feet long, with a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. Veteran sailors were shaken by the incident, claiming the attacker resembled a dinosaur or prehistoric aquatic reptile. The encounter was deemed impossible by officials, yet the crew stood by the story till their deaths. The Resolute's sister ship, the USS Recovery, was also attacked in the North Atlantic 1 week earlier by an unknown sea creature, lending credence to the impossible reports. No logical explanation was ever found for the bizarre and chilling attacks. The chilling Michigan Triangle UFO incident. One of the largest mass UFO sightings in history took place over several days in March 1966 across Michigan that came to be known as the Michigan Triangle incident. It culminated in the infamous swamp gas explanation that made the encounter legendary. On March 14, 1966, deputy sheriffs were called to investigate strange red, green, and white lights spotted hovering and maneuvering through the skies over Washtenaw County. The next night, on March 15th, police in multiple neighboring counties reported hundreds of witnesses calling in about similar unidentified flying objects performing intricate, fast-paced motions. The Air Force scrambled fighters to engage the objects, but the UFOs would quickly vanish. More police confirmations of strange triangular craft came in on March 17th. Panicked citizens were reporting mysterious glowing orbs and aircraft flying at impossible speeds and angles over much of southeastern Michigan. The bizarre UFO flap culminated on March 20th when an eerie glowing object was spotted by dozens of witnesses hovering over a swamp. A press conference was called, where an Air Force consultant would infamously blame swamp gas for the sightings, to widespread ridicule. The credible Michigan mass UFO sightings remain unexplained over 50 years later. The credible Bigfoot footage captured in 1967. In 1967, controversial film footage was captured in Northern California that brought the legend of Bigfoot into the mainstream. On October 20th, 1967, amateur Bigfoot hunters Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin were riding on horseback through the forest near Bluff Creek when they came across a large, hairy, bipedal creature walking along a creek bed. Patterson quickly jumped off his horse and managed to capture less than a minute of 16mm film as the massive creature lumbered away, turning to face the men briefly. The footage shows a large, fur-covered creature, estimated to be over 7 feet tall and weigh 700 pounds, walking upright through the woods on 2 legs. It has a coned head, broad shoulders, and long, dangling arms, clearly not a person in a costume. Many experts have analyzed the short, grainy footage and found no evidence that it was a hoax. Subtle details like the creature's muscles moving under its fur, its fluid gait, and the way its weight shifts as it takes steps all pointed to it being real. No one has been able to definitively prove the footage a fake in over 50 years. The credibility of the Patterson-Gimlin film has led many to consider it the best evidence ever captured of the elusive Sasquatch. It brought Bigfoot into mainstream consciousness. The shocking assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Perhaps the most impactful fright of the 1960s was the horrific public assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. As JFK's motorcade drove through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, gunshots rang out, fatally wounding the president. The murder took place in broad daylight in front of hundreds of witnesses and was also captured on film, with the Zapruder footage showing the graphic details. As Jacqueline Kennedy cradled her dying husband, the nation was terrified seeing their young, energetic leader brutally killed before their eyes. Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested for the shooting, but was himself murdered 2 days later on live TV by Jack Ruby, fueling decades of conspiracy theories. JFK's gruesome death in the middle of downtown Dallas shattered America's spirit and plunged it into mourning. The traumatic public murder of the charismatic president signaled an ominous tone shift for the nation as the idealism of the 1960s gave way to growing cynicism and fear. The shocking broad daylight assassination showed the world was not as bright as it seemed. JFK's death left chilling unease that hangs over America to this day. The 1960s were certainly a frightening time in history, with these and other disturbing events leaving an indelible mark on the decade. As always, thank you for watching.